Part 67. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 666. The green shining light of Lintagzu revealed a distance of 50 feet. Bubble, asterisk. Within 50 feet, all the monsters that came into contact with this green light turned into fly ash. Two huaguangs in front of him, one of which was a streamer of gold, instantly extinguished a flame tail as long as 200 or 300 feet, just like a comet, looming. The other green streamer is like a green lotus leaf, but countless kinds of green blossoms seem to be formed by the condensing of thousands of green winds. Lintagzu's green spirit and the vitality of these two brilliances boiled, like a raging ocean, an unspeakable immense momentum, instantly penetrated through the sky and underground, so that the entire Beeling city seemed to be in one under the trampling of the giant foot of the ancient king. The horrible breath that erupted in an instant made the countless monsters above the ancient teleportation circle utter a fierce hiss, their bodies tremble, and they all wanted to escape. But almost all the monsters in Lintagzu's forward direction were directly suppressed by the unmatched power and could not move at all. A monster was directly suspended in the air, as if fixed in the scroll, as in Lintagzu. In front of the two monstrous brilliances, the distance between these monsters and beasts was 100 feet away. This monster was already exploded directly, turned into a cloud of blood mist, and then turned into fly ash. Incomparable power, like the punishment of the king, like a torrent of years, unstoppable. Why saw, what's going on? Lintagzu. Originally, there was no sign. Wei Suo suddenly received Luo Fang, Let Jia and others landed on the ancient teleportation circle. Jia and others did not react at all, but when they saw the extremely high altitude, to horror glory in the front, a group of youthful gods are behind, coming across the void, and all the people suddenly changed their faces. Quick Jifa formation, 3 monks who control the formation were shocked by Lintagzu's sudden appearance, while Jia and others all swelled to the limit. All of them launched the strongest attack, a ray of flame, and rushed towards Lintagzu, who suppressed above. Lintagzu. He appeared here. He wanted to directly destroy the teleportation circle. When Wei Suo landed and sent the circle, he reached out and pulled Han Tianmo and Chen Anyuan on the edge of the ancient circle into the circle. At the moment, Lintagzu, who looked like the God King coming from the top, and came from the sky and earth, his heart was inexplicable. Fang Cai didn't even notice Lintagzu's arrival, but only felt an amazingly powerful demon spirit toward the North Spirit City by. The amazing and powerful demon made him a little familiar, but at the same time, he felt that this Bai-like demon is more inferior than the old giant claw. Previously, his gaze stayed on the bodies of the two black ghost bones, because as a batch of monks left through the teleportation circle, the remaining monks wanted to resist more and more difficult, and the monks fell faster. For Wei Suo, no matter how many monks will eventually fall, but naturally, the more monks can escape, the better. Therefore, Wei Suo had already planned in his heart, and even abandoned these two black bones in the end, in exchange for more monks to leave. Speaking of Si, Wei Suo did not conceal his Si heart at first. He explained at the beginning that he had to stay on this ancient teleportation circle, and he already said that if there were monsters that they could not deal with, they must leave first. For Wei Suo, the life of a monk who has no relationship with him is naturally not as important as the life of him and Jia. However, thousands of Xing's lives are in front of him, but he will unconsciously make trade-offs in his heart, even willing to give up some costs and save more monks. At this moment, no matter he or Shuling Er and others have been damaged, and no monsters like the ancient giant claws will come, they will definitely be unable to deal with it, so he decided to escape. The fact that Han Tianmo and Chen Anyuan were also included in the ancient teleportation circle is because he has also considered that the experience of Han Tianmo and Chen Anyuan, who has experienced several beasts Xiao, is very useful. Sometimes, it is still useful. Because according to the situation of the sky dome of the heavenly profound continent, even if you fled to the Yunling continent, it would be a few decades at most. Now for Weizhou, he has tried his best and can only escape. But he never imagined that Lin Teixu was at this moment even at this North Spirit City. Moreover, looking at Lin Teixu at the moment, with the breath of ruin and destruction, he clearly wanted to blow this ancient teleportation circle completely with one blow. The defeat of this ancient teleportation circle is equivalent to completely breaking the back path of Wei Suo and others. Naturally, Lin Teixu's idea is not difficult to guess, but at the moment Lin Teixu's shocking magical power, in this kind of under such circumstances, it is really too poisonous to stop the monsters and even want to directly defeat the ancient teleportation circle and kill them. This person turned out to destroy the ancient teleportation circle. This man is so supernatural that he doesn't stop the monsters for us, regardless of our life and death. This person is too spicy. Let's take action together and stop this person with all your seniors. Around the ancient teleportation circle, many monks also gave out angry roars, and a burst of light rushed towards Lin Teixu. The pearl of rice, dare to shine. But the general monks, Xiu Wei, and supernatural powers are far away from Lin Teixu, and the consciousness and reaction of these monks are not much worse than those of Jin Dan. The brilliance they sent out was not as long as Jishi went out. In the cold hum of Lin Teixu, the brilliance emitted by Ji Ya and others had already struck together with Lin Teixu's two brilliances. Boom! Crack! In the earth-shattering explosion, in the fight with the ancient giant claws, a cracked black sedging gold giant crocodile appeared, starting from the head, a piece of cracking broke open. Puff! Around the ancient teleportation circle, the brilliance emitted by the rest of the monks Ji was almost impacted by the two brilliances of Ji Ya and others and Lin Teixu, and the scattered power was completely shattered. There was blood spewing from many people, staggering backwards, almost falling to the ground. The supernatural powers of the four major monks of Jindan, combined with the shocking power of the destruction of the sharp gun, are simply not monks below the Jindan stage, and they can compete. In the ancient teleportation circle, a beam of light has flowed out, which is extremely bright and holy. This ancient teleportation circle has been sent out by Ji, and as long as it is within fingers, Wei Suo and others can escape through this teleportation circle to the edge of the Yunling continent. But Lin Teixu didn't stay in the slightest, still moving forward unhurriedly. Under his huge divine consciousness, the passage of time seems to be extremely slow, as if frozen, and the time of a single finger can seem to be broken down into dozens of moments. He seemed to have enough time to leave Weizhou and others in this time. Laugh! Laugh! But at this moment, the flames of the two black SES, one on the left and one on the right, struck Lin Teixu respectively. Black Hades! Wei Suo's strength of consciousness is not under Lin Teixu at all. His calculations and reactions are also extremely accurate. The two black ghosts rose before, but they did not have the first time with Ji Ya together, they launched an attack on Lin Teixu. At this moment, it was Lin Teixu's extremely powerful blow, which happened to be a hard fight with Ji Ya and others. It was as if Lin Teixu threw a punch, and before the fist could retract, a fist had already reached him. Poof! Poof! However, such an attack did not bring Lin Teixu a half-point obstacle. Lin Teixu didn't do any movement at all, his body still didn't stay at all, just like the green meteor, tracing in the sky. Touching the green light from his body, the black light from the two black bones was turned into fly ash. Fragment of broken stars. Master turned out to pass on this classic to him. Seeing this scene, Shui Linger's face was as pale as transparent, and her hand could not help holding Wei Suo's hand. At the same time, Lin Teixu stretched out his right index finger towards the ancient teleportation circle that had been surging white light, and nodded. At the same time as his right index finger pointed out, countless blue starlights flew out of his body, and a transparent light stripe with a slight green light suddenly appeared from his fingertips. This transparent light pattern exudes an extremely mysterious atmosphere, and as if beyond time, Jia and others haven't even had the time to radiate Jindan's Xiaoguang. This transparent light pattern has impacted Wei cable body. Why saw? Jia and others suddenly gave a loud cry. Shui Linger's face was also completely snow white. At this time, she was subconsciously trying to hold Wei Suo's hand not to let go, but when this green transparent light pattern hit Wei Suo instead shook it off. Took her hand. At the same time as the exclamation of Jia and others, a huge beam of light instantly enveloped the entire ancient teleportation circle. The figures of Jia and others disappeared instantly in the ancient teleportation circle and were teleported out. Wei Suo flew out of the ancient teleportation circle at the moment when the teleportation circle was finally released by this transparent blue light pattern that transcended time. There was a deep meaning of sneer in the corner of Tai Su's mouth, but he glanced at Wei Suo's flying position, without any pause, and his body radiated a dazzling green light directly above the ancient teleportation circle. Disappeared, a little blue light loomed out of the monster beasts on one side, and behind was a fluffy fly ash. At this moment, Lin Taixu had already crossed. And almost at the same time that Lin Taixu's figure disappeared above the ancient teleportation circle, a more terrifying atmosphere, severely suppressing Lin Taixu's position. A thick cloud of black se fell straight down, suppressing it on the ancient teleportation circle. The ground on which the entire ancient teleportation circle was located was cracked, and countless fragmented spars gave out mourning and jumped up. This ancient teleportation circle is completely destroyed. Snapped. A horrible white spine covered with white bones, but the skin is black monster giant claws, protruding from the black cloud. Wei Suo's two black monarchs, the brilliance of Ji hit the giant claw, basically there is no use for it. Between the explosions, these two black skeleton kings were directly caught as scattered fragments. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 667. Chapter 667 I burning with desire great treasure. The shapeshift great art of the shapeshift great art is very simple and clear. It is different from the general shapeshift great art cast. It is necessary to cooperate with the township shapeshift great art. It is obviously the shapeshift great art itself. The powerful energy arouses the power of the world. Just a moment's time, Wei Suo has clearly remembered every action of the attack on the shapeshift great art. Buddha nature holy fruit, I don't know where there is such a holy fruit. In fact, it is better to set up the shapeshift great art to find this holy fruit, than the culture immortal root 5 secrets, not only can directly break through the cultivation base of the golden core 5th layer, but also can repair 2 golden core. At that time, the true UN cultivation base is enough to control the relatives of the town's shapeshift great art. These water attribute monster cores on hand can also continue with culture to enhance the cultivation base. Walking through the ruins, Wei Suo's thoughts could not help but come up with such thoughts. Wei Suo immediately decided to look for Li Ziyi and set up shapeshift great art and Jia to meet them, at least let them know that they have not fallen. The most important thing is to find Buddha nature holy fruit. The immortal spiritual roots above heaven spirit root will not only become more terrifying, but also the double golden core of immortal root 5 secrets, plus the township shapeshift great art. Divine mystic realm cultivator can also compete, and will not be killed by the other side. N. But when I thought of Buddha nature holy fruit, Wei Suo's eyes flash, it stopped immediately. On the storage bracelet, the flash of intuition, a heavy black Xuanhuan box, was taken out by him. Young fellow, what are you doing? You are worried that when the people of Eastern Desolate Sect and Mystic Wind Sect have this kind of fruit, they will be used to deal with you, so you want to try the origin chi powerful energy of this fruit first? Green-robed old man saw the action of Wei Suo, and between the wrinkles, he wanted to understand the general, cold, and sullen. Heaven-level top rank, shapeshift great art, and heavenly dragon star body tempering technique, get the Dragon Burial Mound Great Treasure, plus the current Shapeshift Great Art. If you don't be careful, you don't even have this name. In the hands of the recorded fruit, it was really to die with the remaining grievance. Wei Suo nodded as he looked at the black Xuanhuan box with the strange red se fruit in his hand. This kind of weird thing, try it. Green-robed old man nodded, didn't say anything, just watched. Wei Suo's face se was also completely serious. Immediately, divine consciousness was released, shrouded in the black Xuanhuan box, and then be careful opened the black Xuanhuan box. His current fleshly body is comparable to the Shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure above the Dao rank high grade, and only his own nails and teeth, etc., can cut off his blood row, if it is contaminated by the size of the Great Treasure Origin Chi. If you can't stop it, then you want to cut off the blood row to live, you can't do it. After the black Xuanhuan box opened the line, Wei Suo's divine consciousness immediately felt that there was a sly origin chi on the red se fruit of the watermelon giant treasure xiao from the gap of the black Xuanhuan box. Without any hesitation, Wei Suo immediately put the black Xuanhuan box on it. A transparent true yuan was also handed out from Wei Suo's and wrapped up in this revealing origin chi. N. Wei Suo's brow suddenly jumped. His true yuan met this origin chi, which was actually a melting melt, as if the ice-white bud had a feeling of boiling water. Although this origin chi also has losses, but for every loss, it can consume Wei Suo's great treasure amount true yuan. After taking a deep breath, Wei Suo extended his left hand and touched the air in direct contact with the origin chi. So weird. Wei Suo immediately felt that this origin chi had penetrated directly into his skin and penetrated directly into the white semiasma scattered on the ancient desolate Bai Zi. The feeling of invading the naked body was almost the same. But he immediately provoked antiquity ominous fire, burning in the naked body, but it could not stop the attack of origin chi. Powerful energy. The amazing antiquity ominous fire, which burns almost everything, is actually not useful for this origin chi. Just in a flash of time, Wei Suo's entire left-hand skin is almost completely rigid, as if it had a wooden shell. Try golden core powerful energy. However, Wei Suo did not have the slightest panic. Under the glimmer of vision, he spurred golden core, a share of golden core sunlight, which was scattered from the golden core and rushed from the naked body into the strange origin chi. Past. The Eastern Desolate Sect cultivator didn't lie. Golden core powerful energy has a negative effect on this origin chi. Golden core sunlight rushed to those of origin chi. Wei Suo was immediately moved, feeling that the origin chi is also like a chi in the naked body, quickly disappeared. Only in the blink of an eye, all of this origin chi was completely washed away, and Wei Suo's left hand restored the luster. The activity was as it was, no different from before. It seems that this origin chi can handle it. Seeing this scene, green-robed old man blinked and looked at Wei Suo. This kind of origin chi is actually relying on golden core powerful energy to melt. Wei Suo's eyes narrowed slightly, and offsetting this origin chi, it also requires the consumption of golden core powerful energy. A golden core great treasure cultivator, if wrapped in a great treasure of origin chi, can quickly become weak, and there is almost no shapeshift great art. Shapeshift great art is indeed used for oysters. The best side of the golden core cultivator is shapeshift great art. So, if Eastern Desolate Sect deals with you with the amount of great chi of the precious treasure, isn't it dangerous? Green-robed old man coldly looks at Wei Suo. It's not only that they have such things on hand. I have a lot of hands on hand now. They used this kind of thing to deal with me. The great treasure is not. I also took all these things out. Great treasure has not done shapeshift great art with shapeshift great art. Wei Suo snorted. Young fellow, do you seem to be getting more and more poisonous now? Very good, more and more of my style. Green-robed old man is stunned. Yes, in this case, in order to be on the safe side, then the new golden core on the head is refining the annihilation golden core. Wei Suo said this, Suoxing stopped and put away the Blackwood's ironwood wooden box. With the flash of the backup, it grabbed the golden core. "Young fellow, I think you are more poisonous than me." As soon as I saw Wei Suo's move, green-robed old man suddenly bit his teeth. "There is not enough shapeshift great art, so I have to refine so many annihilation golden core. Be careful," makes Xuanhuan boat, who knows Lin Taixu's body. "Is there a shapeshift great art great treasure similar to Su Jianhuan?" Wei Suo didn't stop at all, and began to refine the annihilation golden core. Now Wei Suo's has 4 golden cores, including White Feather Reverend, Xuanhui Reverend, Baiji Unkong, and Jinwei Reverend. Now with his golden core powerful energy, even the golden core of the golden core 4th layer's White Feather Reverend can be made into an annihilation golden core. Refining the annihilation golden core, Wei Suo is already very familiar and extremely skilled. In less than half an hour, the 4 golden cores were taken out, and Wei Suo successfully made the annihilation golden core, and the amazing chi flame was scattered in the hands of Wei Suo's township shapeshift great art is in hand, plus these 4 annihilation golden cores. Wei Suo from the original shapeshift great art great treasure deficit, suddenly became a little extravagant. Unfortunately, the semi-finished shapeshift great art great treasure of the ancient desolate Bai Zi's spine was not enough time to refine it before the Eastern Desolate sect, and the Jingjin shell and the flying white refining flying sword. Otherwise there are 2 shapeshift great art great treasures. That's perfect. But Wei Suo was still a bit unsatisfied and sighed. "I am doing it." Green-robed old man couldn't help but roll one's eyes. Next, Wei Suo did not say any nonsense, walked through the ruins, and plunged into the hiding place of shopkeeper Zhang and others in True Darkness sect, outside the giant great treasure turtle shell, and directly with shopkeeper Zhang and others. "Go away. Fellow Daoist Wei, take care all the way. Fellow Daoist, staying in this city is not safe. And fleeing to the heavenly profound continent central region is not necessarily the best option. I can tell you, then, this Heaven's Dome, it is possible that it will continue to rip. Within Heaven's Dome, it is not necessarily safer than Heaven's Dome. The layout of the Eastern Desolate Sect's Phoenix Eagle can hide the cultivator scent. With these Phoenix Eagle escaping from Heaven's Dome, choose a secret place outside Heaven's Dome to conceal cultivation. Perhaps the best choice at the moment." Wei Suo stood on a platform with a phoenix unicorn azure hawk on his back and took a look at the Eastern Desolate Sect cultivator he was working on. He said to shopkeeper Zhang and others, "This is the Eastern Desolate Sect cultivator. I will give it to you, if you think my words make sense, so you can teach him the shapeshift great art of the other 4 Phoenix Unicorn Azure Hawk controls. Whenever you take them out of Heaven's Dome safely, I can guarantee that they will give you a way to live. You can choose to leave on your own or you can choose to work with them in a safe place." The word Wei Suo's is said to the Eastern Desolate Sect cultivator. The Eastern Desolate Sect cultivator was shocked by the naked body. It seems that some people can't believe that Wei Suo will let go of it. Is Heaven's Dome likely to continue to rip? When I heard the words of Wei Suo's, shopkeeper Zhang and Du Wei and others suddenly felt a little speechless. "Lu fellow Daoist, I thank you for carrying me all the way. This thing, for you." Wei Suo didn't stop, and reached out and pointed a piece of things to the young man who was very honest and had nothing to say. Why, the honest young man stayed for a while and had not had time to say anything. The Phoenix Eagle that Wei Suo was in was already rising. "You have a good time." Wei Suo's surging sound passed down. Phoenix Unicorn Azure Hawk went all the way and slowly disappeared into the sight of this group of cultivators. This is the shapeshift great art great treasure of Dao rank high grade. The eyes of Du Wei and others unconsciously stayed in the hands of Lu Chang. Just watching Wei Suo send Lu Chang this thing, Xia Yubing couldn't help but scream out surging sound. In the hands of Lu Chang, is a Jingjing Xiao ring shapeshift great art great treasure, spirit light flashing, scattered with amazing spiritual chi. This thing is Wei Suo's constrained shapeshift great art great treasure from Baiji Unkong. The powerful energy is indeed Dao rank high grade. This is your blessing. The whole shopkeeper looked at Lu Cheng and couldn't help but sigh and said something like this. Although they have collected a lot of shapeshift great art great treasure, but Dao rank above the shapeshift great art great treasure, itself is extremely scarce. They batch cultivator, in addition to the Eastern Desolate Sect cultivator from this batch of a 2 Dao rank middle grade and Dao rank low grade shapeshift great RT great treasure, but it is not even shapeshift of a Dao rank high grade great art great treasure. For their level of cultivator, get the great treasure cultivator, get this level of shapeshift great art great treasure, of course, the opportunity of Margaret treasure. I hope they will follow my advice and escape from Heaven's Dome to create their own cave mansion. After leaving the darkness city, Wei Suo didn't think much about it. Let mind-devouring bug control the Phoenix Eagle and fly toward the Jirong Mountain where the Eastern Desolate Sect temporary mountain is located. It's really ridiculous, the monster beast is entrenched, there is no cultivator trail. Along the way, made up his mind to great treasure war, may need to use many water attribute monster core, using the town day shapeshift great art phase. Wei Suo also did not continue to use monster sea or cultivation, just with water emperor sun swallowing secrets swallow relatively slow cultivation spiritual and other things stones, at the same time, following the semi-finished products shapeshift great art great treasure great the unfinished ancient desolate by ze backbone refining are careful. Shapeshift art matrix. Along the way, it was devastated and there was no trace of any cultivator. After one day, Ji Kangshan appeared in the sight of Wei Suo's, far away. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 668. Chapter 668 I am passing by. The entire mountain range of Jikangshan is only 15 miles long, and the highest mountain is only over 100 feet. The place of the great treasure above has a waist-deep blue-yellow poisonous grass. The leaves of this poisonous grass are like the inverted cages of the bowls, and the miasma with the yellow se, which makes the entire mountain part of the great treasure enveloped in the thick miasma. This is really a bad mountain. If it is in peacetime, there is a great treasure that will be built into this place. Green-robed old man looked at the mountain and couldn't help but smash a surging sound. Which valley is the mountain of the Eastern Desolate Sect? Well, is there a patrolling disciple outside? Wei Suo is still a dozen miles away from the G-Cage mountain of the secret place, and is stopping to look at it and thinking about how to enter the Eastern Desolate Sect. In the wilderness of the left side of the secret place, suddenly 3 groups of blue shadows grabbing out, approaching him. You are who? How come with this men's Phoenix Unicorn Azure Hawk? The 3 groups of blue shadows are also 3 Phoenix Unicorn Azure Hawks, among the 3 Eastern Desolate Sect cultivators above, for a middle-aged black cultivator with a face, Yin Sen, black robe, with a glittering golden python texture. On the right is a young man in red shirt who looks a little sinister, while on the left is a yellow cultivator with a slightly chunky figure and a flash of eyes. I am a good friend with Fang Huayu, so he sent this Phoenix Unicorn Azure Hawk to me. Wei Suo smiled. The 3 Eastern Desolate Sect cultivators except the middle-aged black cultivator is the cultivation base of the Thought Division 3rd layer, the other 2 are only the cultivation base of the Heavenly Circuit Realm 5th layer, and there is no threat to him at all. No way. Even if you are a friend of Fang Huayu, he will not be able to give you the Phoenix Unicorn Azure Hawk. Sect Master has long ordered that the Phoenix Unicorn Azure Hawk is extremely important for the Eastern Desolate Sect, and no one can pass the Phoenix Unicorn Azure Hawk to outsiders. Wei Suo wants to mix and match, but when he hears Wei Suo's, the 3 Eastern Desolate Sect cultivators are all murderous intention, and the middle-aged black cultivator immediately has a surging sound sternly shouted. What the hell are you? What, Phoenix Unicorn Azure Hawk is not that much? Why do every Eastern Desolate Sect cultivators I encounter are all Phoenix Unicorn Azure Hawk? Why is Fang Huayu not mentioning me? Wei Suo glanced at the 3 people and said shamelessly, Below is true martial sect young master Xuanhuan. You are too shameless, actually posing as the dead ghost green-robed old man heard Wei Suo posing as true martial sect young master and couldn't help but call a surging sound in Wei Suo's ear. True martial sect young master, the three Eastern Desolate sect cultivators were all awkward. After looking at each other, the three Eastern Desolate sect cultivators were all greeted by Wei Suo, and the middle-aged black cultivator was a little scared. By Gong Bai respected, I have no eyes, I don't know if young Lord Su is coming. I don't know young Lord Su came to our Eastern Desolate section, what happened? The three guys actually believe this. Green-robed old man couldn't help but call a surging sound, some speechless. It seems that I don't even know the news that Xuanhuan has been killed by me. Wei Suo's heart, he knows that these three Eastern Desolate sect cultivators are not fools, but the identity of true martial sect young master, usually does not dare to pretend, and his current body is indeed very different from the general cultivator. So the three Eastern Desolate sect cultivators will immediately believe that he is Xuanhuan. Thinking in my heart, Wei Suo's face is not moving. Surging sound se, I am coming to Eastern Desolate sect, in true darkness city, listening to Fanghuayu, said Mystic Wind sect, someone will come to your Eastern Desolate sect, I want to see Lin Taixu. Now has the cultivator of Mystic Wind sect, stay at your Eastern Desolate sect. The original young Lord Su was a meeting with someone who wanted to be with Mystic Wind section. Hearing Wei Suo, the three Eastern Desolate sect cultivators are all lust, and the middle-aged black robe cultivator immediately said, now Mystic Wind sect has no predecessors staying at our Eastern Desolate sect, but Mystic Wind sect people may have some connection with our sect master, young Lord Su looking for someone with Mystic Wind sect, maybe let us sect master help if young Lord Su feels convenient, let me lead the way, take the young master to see our sect master. Good. Wei Suo didn't lift his eyes, nodded, and he couldn't do it. It's still pretending to be true. Green-robed old man is speechless again. Wei Suo now imitates the way Xuanhuan was tall at the time. It is really a bit of a charm. It is a mart merchant who started selling Blackwind in Spirit Peak City. Young Lord Su, please come with us. The three Eastern Desolate sect cultivators seem to have the face of a great treasure, and they are excited to lead the way. Why, the number of Phoenix Unicorn Azure Hawks of your Eastern Desolate sect is not so good, so why did Fanghuayu not mention this to me, just gave me this Phoenix Unicorn Azure Hawk. Wei Suo followed the three men and continued to listen to the message of surging sound se. There are more than 100 heads, usually enough, but if there is a great treasure scale, the monster beast group just passes, and if it is to be moved, it is still a little nervous. For the middle-aged black robe cultivator did not dare to have any scornful answer. I heard Fanghuayu say that they are looking for Lizai. Now you have Eastern Desolate section, do you have any traces of Lizai? Wei Suo then asked. I don't know. Lust when I wait, young master can ask us sect master directly. Mystic Wind sect cultivator, when was the last Eastern Desolate sect? When? I have seen Mystic Wind sect cultivator, just before our Eastern Desolate sect moved here, 10 days ago. As for the arrival of the Mystic Wind sect cultivator during this period, we are not enough and no shapeshift great art knows. Du Fuji, who is this fellow deist, how come with the Phoenix Unicorn Azure Hawk of our Eastern Desolate sect? The three Eastern Desolate sect cultivators took Wei Suo all the way. They just fell in the secret place of the valley place. In the secret place miasma on the east side of the G cage. The secret place of the valley was like a curtain of thick miasma, suddenly separated and walked out of it. A cultivator wearing a purple golden robe. This cultivator is an old man with wrinkles on his face. His face is clear, his eyes are like a torch, he wears a bloodstone crown, and his robes are made of a purple gold thread. Very expensive. Elder son, this is true martial sect young Lord Su, who is a member of Fanghuayu. Some things are related to our sect master. The three Eastern Desolate sect cultivators immediately went to the old man for a ceremony, and said the middle-aged black robe cultivator. It's actually the young Lord Su, great treasure of true martial sect, the Eastern Desolate sect, who is not in the middle of the Eastern Desolate Sect, was also taken aback and quickly greeted Wei Suo. You don't have to be polite. Wei Suo puts his hands on the cold and not too light, a class of me young master. Since young Lord Su wants to see our sect master, please come with me. This elder son also had no nonsense, turned and took the road ahead. I don't think it's quite good in this Eastern Desolate section. It seems that I want to stay here for a long time. Just after the elder son, passing through the thick miasma, Wei Suo couldn't help but look at the lust scene. Green-robed old man couldn't help but surging sound like this. It seems that from the outside, this valley is just a number of squares, but now I came in and saw that the valley was actually dug down by the Eastern Desolate Sex cultivator, and the horizontal direction is also in all directions, towards the mountain naked body. Dig into it, surrounded by the mountain naked body, but it is like a piece of giant great treasure. The entire valley has reached a dozen miles, pavilions, and layout is also very beautiful. Many of the secret places in the mountain body, as well as the Lingquan waterfall, all miasma, are above the valley and can't penetrate the valley. And the whole valley is facing south. The terrain is slightly inclined upwards, a long green yew ladder in the middle, about 2 feet wide, all the way up, stretching at least 10,000, now Wei Suo and this elder son, right at the bottom of the ladder, there is a yellow yew with a height of 4 or 5 people, and the 3 great treasure words of Eastern Desolate Sect are engraved on it. Chi. After entering the mountain of the Eastern Desolate Sect with Wei Suo, the elder son wearing a purple golden robe, who was leading the way, suddenly plunged several tens of feet and opened a distance with Wei Suo while reaching for one. Exploring, a blaze of yellow se rushed into the air. Immediately, a yellow Sedivine light screen of Pangret treasure suddenly formed, covering the entire Eastern Desolate Sect. Elder son, what's the matter? At the same time, a yellow light came from a secret place pavilion and fell to elder son, but was a yellow shirt old man holding a bamboo slip. The 2 eyebrows of the old man in the yellow shirt flew upwards and looked like 2 xiaojians. The appearance was very majestic. At the same time, 4 or 5 Eastern Desolate Sect cultivators of different costumes also swept from the surroundings. This person came with the Phoenix Unicorn Azure Hawk of our Eastern Desolate Sect and pretended to be young Master Su Xuanhuan of True Martial Section. Elder son's face se became very deep cold at the moment, and he said this to the old man in yellow shirt who fell to his side. What is your identity? Immediately, the elder son eyes looked at Wei Suo with a murderous intention. How can you have the Phoenix Unicorn Azure Hawk of our Eastern Desolate Sect in your hand? Young fellow, your acting skills are too bad to be seen. Green-robed old man is happy, haha, great treasure, laughs a surging sound. Now they are rushing restrictions, closing the mountain men, ready to close the dog. Someone dare to pretend to be True Martial Sect young master. The majestic yellow shirt old man was also taken aback and kept looking at Wei Suo. How do you know that I am not True Martial Sect young master? Wei Suo glanced at the yellow Sedivine light screen that enveloped the entire valley, some depressed. He felt that his acting was very real, and he might be seen through it. Do you think I am an idiot? Although I have never seen True Martial Sect young master, at least I know that he is an ice spiritual root cultivator, mainly based on ice shift great art. The breath of your body is not the atmosphere of the ice shift great art. Elder son, standing on the blue yew ladder, looked at the sharp surging sound of the dreary cold. Who are you? Don't say it. It turned out to be, Wei Suo turned over the roll one's eyes and said, in fact, I am passing by. I want to find your sect master and inquire about Lin Taixu. Passing by? I think you are looking for death. I will give you the last chance to tell your true identity, otherwise I will kill you without hesitation. Elder son looked at Wei Suo icily. No, just fake the True Martial Sect young master. You are going to kill me? You are not afraid to kill me, Nong, and attract the monster beast? Wei Suo is a scared look, 4 secret places to see. Our East Wilderness Hood can isolate all light and surging sound, and how to kill you will not attract monster beast. Elder son sneered, you can die. Yes, that's best. Wei Suo patted his hands and he smiled. Let's find your sect master and come out to see me. I have something to ask him, or I'm welcome. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 669. Chapter 669 goes one step forward. Directly named sect master to come out to see him. Does he really think he is true martial sect young master? Being enclosed in the mountains, still so crazy, does this person think he can challenge our entire Eastern Desolate sect alone? Several Eastern Desolate sect cultivators came around and heard Wei Suo say so, first of all, and then they all laughed at Surging Sound. Young people, who are you? You are so crazy, really think that our Eastern Desolate sect is nobody? The old yellow shirt next to Elder Son is also a crane, and his eyes are as bright as a pearl. He said, hurry up and tell your origins, otherwise we won't leave Lust. I only ask you, your cultivator of Eastern Desolate sect, go out and rob the surviving cultivator, let them collect the fruit. You Eastern Yupsolate sect up and down, do you know Lust? Wei Suo thought about it with his head, but said this. Oh. Are you in trouble for the cultivator, specifically looking for our Eastern Desolate sect? Elder Son and the yellow-shirt old man with the crane are all stunned, and couldn't help but look at each other and narrow their eyes. So you all know that you are up and down. Are you an elder of Eastern Desolate sect, and you are indulging, or even instructing this behavior? Wei Suo nodded, Surging Sound loud treasure, and shocked the whole valley. I don't want to kill more. I don't know if your Eastern Desolate sect went out to rob the surviving cultivator, or opposed it at the beginning. Don't come out and be an enemy, otherwise I don't have shapeshift great art to keep your life. Is this person crazy? Is he really one person to challenge our entire Eastern Desolate sect? Don't you know that some people in this world are extremely conceited, and they don't know how high the earth is, even if it is the great treasure cultivator of the golden core 3rd layer 4th layer, it may not be alone to go to someone else's mountainman to yell. Let me see what divine ability you have. Elder Son no longer has shapeshift great art, and his hands slammed forward to the void, and the fingers between his hands were screaming, showing a flame of green se. On the green Xiao stage, suddenly there was a majestic heat, and a green se fire from Elder Son's hand formed 2 birds' claws with half-man great treasure Xiao. Once on, Wei Suo's the whole figure seems to cover it completely. Qingyuan Fire Claw, this is Earth scale high art of Earth level high level, the power is terrifying. I am afraid this person has regretted it now. There are many Eastern Desolate sect cultivators around, and Wei Suo is a mocking god. Are you a fire? If you don't kill you, I don't think it's hard to stand up. However, Wei Suo is instead stepping toward the top of the green Xiao step, and a black se flare appears in the hand. What is this fire UN shapeshift great art? This powerful energy. How? But letting these Eastern Desolate sect cultivators stop breathing instantly, Wei Suo's black sand flares come out, and the air within a radius of 12 degrees is directly burned and twisted, like an invisible oven suddenly coming. Ah! Elder Son's face se became very pale in an instant, but he just had time to scream out half of the Surging Sound. The 2 flame-condensed blue se bird's claws were directly burned into nothing, and the black se flare was just under a roll. The whole person instantly became a fly ash. It's too expensive for 1 ang. It seems that I don't want to use shapeshift great art. Wei Suo shook his head and looked at the flying ash that was blown out, and some regretted that. Ah! The old man in the yellow shirt of the crane dances, but a black iron treasure is rising from his hands. This mysterious iron great treasure is printed with dragon stripes, and it has become a great treasure. It looks like a mountain. It's too slow. Next time against the enemy, don't forget that the action is not so slow. Pa! But this breath is like the mountain's mysterious iron. The great treasure print has not yet come out completely, and a dark golden sword light of Pang great treasure has directly hit the old man of the yellow shirt. The naked body of the owner of the yellow shirt was directly smashed into two sections and flew backwards. Slow you a ghost ah. It has become two paragraphs, and the next time? Upon hearing Wei Suo's, green-robed old man couldn't help but silently called a surging sound. How, elder son and Zhang elder, even a face-to-face was killed by this person. How was this possible? How could his shapeshift great art be so fast? Before all of them had a breath, they were still laughing at Wei Suo's Eastern Desolate Sect cultivator, all of which were cold air and cold air. Three Eastern Desolate Sect cultivators reacted at the same time, and the splendid light flashed in front of them. I have already said that I should not be an enemy of me, otherwise I will find my own way. There is no slight change in the god Se on Wei Suo's face. The ancient well has no bow, but just step forward. Ah! But again, the splendid light in front of the three Eastern Desolate Sect cultivators has not yet appeared, and it has been split into two segments by a dark golden sword chi and flew backwards. Who dare to be crazy at my Eastern Desolate Sect? A middle-aged cultivator wearing a bronze Se robe walked on a golden square hole-like shapeshift great art great treasure Jishi, and at the same time produced a surging sound. Go and call your sect master out. Wei Suo continued to move forward without a slight stop. The middle-aged cultivator from the Jishi suddenly saw the scene around Wei Suo, and the figure was fierce, but after a meal, there was a brilliance of green Se in front of him. Looking for a dead end. Wei Suo reached for a stroke, and a dark golden sword chi instantly slammed away, directly smashing the middle-aged cultivator and the green light that appeared in front of him, and flew backwards. The middle-aged cultivator in the bronze Se wear and the elder son and Zhang Chang, just as old as the Thought Division and Realm Fourth, have apparently seen elder son and Zhang Chang old corpse horizontal in the ground, so only then Dayton that meal, but cultivation base and elder son and Zhang Chang old, also dare to do, this in Wei Suo's eyes, naturally is extremely stupid. Don't dare to do it in our mountains. Kill him. Among the Eastern Desolate Sect mountains, the surrounding cultivators have all been shaken. In the twinkling of an eye, there are already 450 cultivators flying out of the four-sided temple. A splendid light rushed from all directions to Wei Suo standing on the middle of the green yew ladder. Hong! Wei Suo is still walking calmly on the blue yew ladder, a group of peak great treasures transparent glow from his heart secret place, all the splendid light in front of him is shattered. At the same time, a dark golden sword light of Pang great treasure was once again pulled out from him. The 6 or 7 Eastern Desolate Sect cultivators in front had no resistance, and all broke into two segments, and the blood and rain flew. Golden Core Sunlight, this person is the Golden Core Stage Great Treasure Cultivator. See all the Eastern Desolate Sect cultivator in this scene, all great treasure. Wei Suo's power can't be stopped, and almost all the Eastern Desolate Sect cultivators that have been surrounded are a stagnation. Chi. At this time, a surging sound of the surging sound in the valley on the east side sounded, and the brilliance of a group of red Se rose, and the strong of an Eastern Desolate Sect crossed the valley. The strongest of this Eastern Desolate Sect is a white-robe cultivator with a face of only 30 years old, holding a red-skinned folding fan in his hand. The white's shapeshift great art robes on the cultivator grew over the surface of the foot and looked immortal. The head hangs down, volleys, and looks like electricity. The white's spiritual chi, which is on the body, forms a white's a great treasure behind it. Spirit light, which is scattered on the red Se fold fan in his hand, forms a phantom of red-hot, unicorn, outside him. At the same time, on the west side of the valley, above the secret place level 9 pavilion, there is no surging sound, and there is also a strong great treasure. Also a strong Ener of Eastern Desolate Sect, came out. The strong Ener of Eastern Desolate Sect is wearing a golden battle armor. It looks like a 30-something face. Although his face is pale and thin, his body is scattered with a treasure fighting intent. His body is spiritual chi. A golden day was formed outside, illuminating the sky above the valley of Xiao, which is no shapeshift great art. Fellow deist, who dares to rely on divine ability, kills the great treasure in my eastern desolate section. Long and sloppy, the white robe was spotless, and the powerful eastern desolate sect was first swayed to the front of Weisuo's, and the rolling pressure pushed towards Weisuo. Call you sect master, come out, wait for me to fall. Weisuo glanced at the strong enter of the eastern desolate sect. The arrogance is extreme. This eastern desolate sect golden core strong face has no bow, surging sound cold. Really? This white robe, spotless, a grand master bearing golden core strong obviously want to start immediately, but now he surging sound out, have not had time to do, with Weisuo surging a sound plain surging tone, a shares than his pang great treasure several times the rolling pressure, but is the overwhelming pressure over his divine consciousness pressure, crazy chow general pressure on his body. All the Eastern Desolate Sect cultivators that were looted at the moment saw that the figure of the Eastern Desolate Sect was shaking in the air. Immediately, the two dark golden swords of Pangret treasure, in tandem, immediately came to the front of the Eastern Desolate Sect golden core. Pa! Just before sword chi came, the Eastern Desolate Sect white cultivator came back to the sky, and the red cyan fan in his hand made a dazzling red light. But just a flash, dazzling red light immediately collapsed, the extraordinary Eastern Desolate Sect golden core strong left shoulders, and then fly backwards. How, in the end, this person is who, to what extent his cultivation base has reached, even a face-to-face will be seriously injured by the shapeshift great art elder. Elder shapeshift great art can't resist even one of his faces. The Eastern Desolate Sect cultivator in front of all the scene is extremely bleak. Even the Eastern Desolate Sect golden core cultivator, wearing a golden battle armor, was a fierce shock, with a surging sound. All the people are slow, this fellow deist, who are you, why come? Under Weisuo continued to step forward and reached out, but he sacrificed his men's board flying sword. I just passed by the way, who asked you to rob the surviving cultivator, and by the way, Lin Taixu and those of Mystic Wind sect, now secret place. Weisuo, are you domineering reverend? You are not dead in the hands of true martial sect young master. Just rely on your rogue cultivator, dare to kill my Eastern Desolate Sect mountain? This Eastern Desolate Sect golden core cultivator wearing a golden battle armor is a great treasure. Let us, not this person opponent. The brothers, Supreme Elder, came out together to kill this child. At this time, the Eastern Desolate Sect white cultivator that fell to the ground, stood out, and had a surging sound. As this surging sound screamed out, the secret place obviously had Eastern Desolate Sect's cultivator received the command, dang I don't know what shapeshift great art is, and the whole valley is shaking. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 670. Chapter 670 Tianhe Hulang. The breath of a giant treasure, from the end of the left side of the valley, in the mountain naked body, seems to be a waterfall in the artificial Hong. A green se figure that gives a strong sense of temperament, stepping out from the back of the waterfall. The entire waterfall rolled out like a carpet and ran across the sky. And this cultivator, step by step from the waterfall in the air. Another strong enter of Eastern Desolate Sect appeared. The blossoming water lotus, as he stepped down every step of the way, formed on the waterfall and bloomed in the air. The strongest of this Eastern Desolate Sect is wearing a plain green gown. It doesn't look like any lust on the surface. It doesn't like anger, and it shows the majesty of a generation. Why, I will introduce Rogue Cultivator, you will not look at it, dare to be an enemy of me, but Weisuo's god Se is very dull, still moving forward, shouting at the same time, don't want to die, don't do it to me. Don't want to die, don't you start, do you really think that you are a great treasure person? We are going to do it with you, how can you do it? An Eastern Desolate Sect young cultivator great treasure surging sound in a red shapeshift great art suit. Wei Suo shook his head as if he had ignored the great treasure surging sound and was offering the young cultivator of shapeshift great art great treasure. Pa! But the screaming surging sound of the Eastern Desolate Sect young cultivator has not disappeared, and a dark golden sword light has fallen on him, cutting him directly into two halves. The Eastern Desolate Sect cultivator is next to this person, and even the shapeshift great art interception is too late. Wei Suo didn't look at this person and continued to follow the steps of King Yu. If there were no ones, the dozens of Eastern Desolate Sect cultivators around them would instead be silent and take a step back. Death. Wearing the golden battle armor, the golden Desolate Sect great treasure figure stretched out, and a golden and ancient spear instantly appeared from him, just a flash, and disappeared directly into the void in front of him. Wei Suo was surprised to see the Eastern Desolate Sect golden core cultivator wearing the golden armor. This guy's ancient great treasure is extraordinary. Green-robed old man couldn't help but smash a surging sound at this time. The shapeshift great art great treasure, wearing the golden armor's Eastern Desolate Sect cultivator, looks like the teleport type shapeshift great art great treasure, but after disappearing in front of him, it doesn't immediately appear from Wei Suo's it came out, but it disappeared like a void. This shapeshift great art great treasure is like the extremely rare space-type ancient treasure of the ancient cultivation world. Invisible shapeshift great art clothing. At about the same time, Wei Suo couldn't help but shook his head. Because just behind him, his divine consciousness felt that a cultivator was sneaking into his 500-foot range. The cultivator is also wearing a shapeshift great art dress that doesn't know what materials to refine. The cultivator is not expected to know that Wei Suo's divine consciousness is very strong, and has already sneaked into Wei Suo's. Wei Suo didn't return, and wanted to see what the cultivator was on the shapeshift great art. He didn't want to easily damage the shapeshift great art. He waved his hand and waved a surging sound of. I saw a blue-black giant claw with a blue mao directly grab the sneak Eastern Desolate Sect cultivator and took it to Wei Suo's. Didn't look at it, Wei Suo directly included the Eastern Desolate Sect cultivator, which had been killed by Mystic Fiend Ghost Claw, into the treasure receiving pocket. Give me death. At this time, the Eastern Desolate Sect great treasure cultivator wearing the golden battle armor reached for a shot. The golden light of the whole body gathered into a golden great treasure fingerprint, and pressed toward Wei Suo. It seemed to overwhelm Wei Suo. The crackdown on the blue U steps below. At the same time, behind Wei Suo's, there was a golden flame, and the golden ancient spear slid towards the back of Wei Suo's. Shapeshift great art great treasure is good, but your cultivation base is too bad, too slow. I want to die, you are not qualified. Wei Suo's action doesn't look fast, but a dark golden sword light is a surging sound that kicks the rear golden ancient spear back. At the same time, a black selling Z-like flame burned the golden great treasure handprint in front and continued to strike towards the Eastern Desolate Sect great treasure cultivator wearing the golden battle armor. You. Dressed in golden battle armor's Eastern Desolate Sect great treasure cultivator faces a stiff, fierce open mouth. A pure gold-like golden core emerges from the mouth, a dazzling golden core sunlight, so that the surrounding cultivator is fundamental. No shapeshift great art opens your eyes. Pa. But Wei Suo's antiquity ominous fire shocked, the golden core of the Eastern Desolate Sect great treasure cultivator slammed, surging sound, the Eastern Desolate Sect great treasure cultivator wearing the golden battle armor at the same time spit out a blood. Back. This person has at least the golden core third layer above the cultivation base. We are not opponent. Uncle Shi. Brother, you all come out? There is no lust's color on the face, and the Eastern Desolate Sect great treasure cultivator across the waterfall is so cool that there are two surging sounds, and his head also shows a golden core of the green core. The Wandaking Se Xuanhuan, which was scattered above, was also condense a waterfall of green Se, blocking in front of the Eastern Desolate Sect great treasure cultivator wearing the golden battle armor. At the same time, a surging sound of, a blue SE light column from his hand, hit a secret place on the ground below the naked body of his rear mountain. Boom. Under the secret place, there is also a surging sound of the surging sound. At about the same time, boom surging sound, the ground below the secret place flips over, a black chi lingering 3-story black tower from the top come out. A majestic atmosphere came out of it. At the same time, one mountain's naked body suddenly exploded, one Yuan stone flew, a cultivator wearing a hemp's shapeshift great art clothing, stepped out from the middle. Sect Master, as soon as I saw Black Chi's 3-story black tower, almost the great treasure, most Eastern Desolate Sect cultivators had a surging sound. This, and the Eastern Desolate Sect cultivator is awkward when you see the cultivator wearing a hemp's shapeshift great art suit from the mountain naked body. The Eastern Desolate Sect cultivator, dressed in hemp's shapeshift great art, is very old, white, and skinny. The wrinkles on his face are like a knife, his mouth is dry, and he seems to die at any time. The old man of this age, almost all of the Eastern Desolate Sect cultivator have not seen it, and he does not know the existence of this old man. But the breath of this old man is more than the breath of the Black Tower. The iron ash spiritual chi, which is scattered in his body, forms a square shield shape in front of him. Old antique. The old man's breath is very vicissitudes. It is obvious that Eastern Desolate Sect cultivation has not known how long the old antique characters. This kind of character, usually does not have a face, even the men cultivator may not know the existence. This kind of character, is the existence of some of the pressure of the bottom of the box. Eastern Desolate Sect Master and Eastern Desolate Sect the old antique at the bottom of the pressure box appeared at the same time. Chi flame smashed the sky, and the air on the side of the press was caca blasting, as if the sky above the valley had to be broken. Only by you, want to deal with our entire Eastern Desolate Sect, a surging sound with supreme surging sound, from the Black SE Tower up to 10 feet, immediately, the Eastern Desolate Sect Master emerged from the giant tower. I saw the Eastern Desolate Sect Master face white looks only 30 years old, the eyes are extremely bright, wearing a black say golden shapeshift great art robe, the body of spiritual chi is black SE, in outside it, it forms a tassel-like shape, majestic great treasure, like the legendary ancient immortal. Shua. Wei Suo didn't talk, but just stepped forward, but when this step came out, the silver set divine light flashed, and the divine light looked like a smashing emptiness, a terrifying pressure and a killing intent. The heart is trembled. This person's cultivation base. Eastern Desolate Sect Master and the original eyelids, the seemingly lifeless Eastern Desolate Sect old antique all changed SE, almost unconsciously took a step back. This child is young, there has been such a cultivation base, it is really an ancient genius. We joined forces to kill this ancient genius. But the boss in the eyes of the Eastern Desolate Sect old antique quickly went down, and a bamboo-like shapeshift great art great treasure appeared in his hands. Even if it is the great treasure cultivator of the golden core 3rd layer 4th layer, facing so many people, we must also fall the green cultivator traversing the waterfall in the air, still no face lust, staring at Wei Suo indifferently. At this moment, the rest of the Eastern Desolate Sect great treasure characters have calmed down. Golden core cultivator, are all very common cultivators. This is among the mountains of Eastern Desolate Section there are thousands of cultivators. In addition to so many golden core cultivators, there are many elders above the thought division 4th layer. With so many cultivators, can't you deal with a young cultivator who is not a great treasure? Even if you are a great treasure, you can reincarnate, and today you will be told to fall here, Eastern Desolate Sect Master and Eastern Desolate Sect Old Antique, marching together, crossing the void, toward Wei Suo Bai. Slay this child. These 4 words, like the God King trial, shunt dang in the heavens and the earth, containing endless murderous intention, pressed toward Weisuo. A group of pirate great treasures of spiritual Chibo, from these great treasure cultivators shocked Dang. The bully is hard, you are really looking for death. However, Weisuo shook his head and continued to move up step by step without any pause. Go to death. The white cultivator, which had been smashed by his arm, had a ray of light on his head, as if he had risen in the sun and the moon. Ah! But before he had a golden core, the white cultivator standing on the ground suddenly had a bunch of blood light. At the same time, the naked body of the white cultivator was shattered into several white lights and cut into several segments. What? How was this possible? A golden core level great treasure character, so directly fell, the rest of the cultivator, did not respond at all. What is going on? Hong. At the same time, Weisuo's heart spewed out countless fascinating rays of light, and the pressure of Pangret treasure directly pressed the front 6 or 70 Eastern Desolate Sect cultivators without shapeshift great art, as if they were set in the picture. A will like the golden core of the treasure rises out and shakes the world. Ah! Just as soon as I saw Weisuo's golden core, the closest to Weisuo, the Eastern Desolate Sect great treasure cultivator wearing the golden armor, screamed at a surging sound. His heart trembled almost without shapeshift great art. Xuanhuan, almost directly shocked and collapsed naked body and died. Weisuo is still going up the stairs along the green U. Boom, a surging sound, on his Ponte great treasure golden core, rushed out of a giant river like a ang, and rolled out. In front of a great treasure piece, there are 340 Eastern Desolate Sect cultivators, which are directly rushed into the crush, without any resistance. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 671. There are more monsters around King Glogo City than around Xuanhuan City. There are still powerful high-level monsters staying in King Glogo City. We did not dare to enter at all. We hid and walked around King Glogo City for 2 days. He left and rushed to Xuanhuan City again. Kong Jiang looked at Weisuo. After these 2 days, the number of monsters seems to be scarce, but there are still monsters coming from the direction of the Sky Dome from time to time. It may not be blocked yet. You can escape here all the way. Is there any special magic weapon besides the circle? Weisuo asked next. I heard Kong manager said before that he escaped with another money manager. Where is the money dispenser now? The one who escaped with us all the way. In addition to the treasurer, there was an apprentice of the treasurer, named Zhang Nian. Kong Jiang looked at the passage coming in from the rear and explained, the two of them are now search in other areas of Xuanhuan City. See if you can find some daimyo or some magic items that can supplement the true yuan. After a pause, the whole dispenser added, to be honest, we found several magic weapons around King Glogo City, but the daimyo who can quickly add true yuan to our body has almost consumed it. And I arranged this method. Array, it also requires a few pieces of material, and it is almost consumed now. The treasurer and his apprentice are mainly looking for some original shops, to see if they can get some daimyo and me to arrange this method in the ruins of these shops. The material of the array. As for the special magic weapon you said, Jidayu, there is a gourd golden spirit bee in the whole dispenser. These golden spirit bees can fly out thousands of miles, and if you feel any powerful monsters, these golden spirits, there will be a unique way of passing messages between the bees, which can quickly make the money shopkeeper feel. Golden spirit bee, Weisuo's eyes moved. I heard that this kind of spirit bee has a limited lifespan, or it is usually not used, and it must be used. After it is released, it will be exhausted for more than 10 days and generally die. And this kind of golden bee is very peculiar or expensive, and every flight requires the entire group to fly out. Good, there was a bit of a wry smile on the face of Kong dispensers. The gold spirit bees of Chien dispensers can only persist for a few days, and they should all die. That's right. Speaking of this, Kong dispensers remembered something like that, and looked at Wei Suo and asked, when did Ji Dai rush to this Guanshan city? Didn't you say that there were several monks guarding Biling? Has the city monk escaped from the ancient teleportation circle? How could you not escape from the ancient teleportation circle? How could you escape from the northern spirit city to this Guanshan city all the way? An unknown monster with a terrifying strength, possibly reaching level 9, appeared and defeated the ancient teleportation circle. At that time, there were still 4 or 5,000 monks who could not escape from the teleportation circle. There was really no way. I used my men to control the beast, controlled a purple flame giant beetle, then dug a blood dong on its back, and drilled in it. Soon after, I fell into a trap in the faint me. When I woke up, I was already in this Guanshan city. Wei Suo looked at Kong Zhang and Lu Cheng, bitterly smiled and said, the purple flame giant beetle that I am in has probably died 2 to 3 days, judging by this time, I should have been to Guanshan city for 2 to 3 days, but I woke up more than half a day ago. And I have been among the purple flame giant beetles for a long time. Not at all. Ji Dai was so badly injured that she could still escape in this way, and it was really a big blessing hearing Wei Suo actually escaped with a giant purple flame beetle. Both Kong Zhang and Lu Cheng, it is amazing. That's right. Since Daiyu didn't produce the purple flame giant beetle for less than half an hour, then the material of many demon beasts and some refiners in Guanshan city, weren't you collected by Daiyu? But then, Kong the shopkeeper remembered something like that again, and a very surprised flashed in his eyes. Naturally not, so to speak. These demon pill and refining materials were not collected by the whole dispensers. Wei Suo was also startled. We just saw you appear and thought that these things were collected by you. We also arrived at Guanshan city only at noon today. According to this time, we arrived in Guanshan city later than you. Daiyu woke up, and then we first found this place and built this magic circle. I first nonged this place to stay. It was only after I went out to search that I heard the voice of the Taoist, and I just saved the Taoist. The whole keeper and Lu Cheng glanced at each other. The demon of these monster beasts, we don't collect the materials suitable for the refiner on our body. So, other monks have passed by before. Wei Suo frowned. I don't know, Mr. Kong, do you know anything about the very strange trees outside? We haven't heard of these kinds of trees before. The shopkeeper Kong shook his head and said, it is likely that the seeds of these trees carried by some kind of monster are falling down and growing up. These kinds of trees, the trees looked very weird, and they grew a lot along the way from King Gluo city to Guanshan city. When we came along the way, we saw that the bodies of several monks were under the tree that produced red fruits, so I dare not get close to these trees. Does that shopkeeper have any knowledge of outside news? Wei Suo couldn't help asking. We don't know anything about what happened to the beast Xiao. To be honest, Ji Daiyu is the only living person we have seen in the past 10 days. Over the way, we only saw the corpses of the monks. Even to this Guanshan city, it has become the general waste of Luan burial. We can't help but have the illusion that the Sky Dome has been completely occupied by monsters and beasts, and it is no different from the wild wilderness outside. Now Kong Dispenser's side. Wei Suo was suddenly speechless. I still don't know anything about the outside world. I don't even know what city the beast Xiao spread to, but what's certain is that there must be a gap in the Sky Dome, so the orientation of the Sky Dome is still flooded in from time to time. But this is also meaningless to Wei Suo, because even if it is blocked, the Sky Dome may still not break. Now he wants to know which city is safer to escape to. Snapped. At this moment, there was a clear and audible explosion outside, and it was obvious what spells made the explosion sound. This voice caused Wei Suo and Kong Tsung and Lu Cheng's face to change at the same time. After a moment, the Luan stone above was removed and a breeze rushed in. Immediately, an old man wearing a purple-red gown, white hair and a ruddy face, who looked kind-hearted, and a young man in Xingyi who looked very formal and ordinary looked in. This, seeing Wei Suo lying on the ground at first glance, The old man and the young man in Tsingyi, who seemed to be a bit cautious, were full of surprised gods. Old money, what happened just before that? Kong dispenser asked a little nervously. It happened to meet two wolf-headed bats, which has been solved. The old man wearing a purple-red gown and the young man in Tsingyi were obviously the money shopkeeper and his disciple Zhang Nian said. And after answering this sentence quickly, the treasurer immediately looked at Wei Suo on the ground and asked, "Is this Dao friend?" This Daoist is Gli. He was a monk who escaped from Biling City. He was seriously injured. We just ran into it when we went out to search, Kong Zhang said to Qian. I didn't think I could meet other surviving monks here, Ji Daiyu. I am really fortunate. Qian Zhengui looked excited. Just like what Kong said, for 10 consecutive days, I couldn't see a living monk come down. They all even had a feeling that the entire sky was occupied by monsters. Now I see a strange surviving monk. It was also very moving. I can't think of Ji Daiyu even escaping with a giant purple flame beetle. Ji Daiyu is really lucky. Next, Qian Qianbao had a few words with Wei Suo and Kong Zibao, Xiao. Hearing that Wei Suo escaped here by hiding under the giant flame beetle of purple flames, Qian Zangbao and others were sighing again. Old money, did you find anything when you went out? After saying a few more words, Kong Zangui returned to the market and asked, looking at the Qian Zhang. No. Qian's face suddenly became a little ugly again. There must have been a monk who had passed through Guanshan City before, searching Guanshan City, not only those monsters' inner den and useful refining materials. There are also traces of the shops and ruins of Fangxi, and there are no useful things in them now. And there seems to be a demon with a good grade staying on the east side of the city. Then how is this good? Kong shopkeeper heard Qian shopkeeper said, suddenly face gray, some of the 6 gods without a master. Kong shopkeeper, money shopkeeper, can't this kind of magic circle last? Wei Suo's brow jumped and asked after seeing the look of Kong shopkeeper. His true cultivation base has reached the 4 levels of Jindan. As long as there are 4 or 5 days, he cannot be afraid of most monsters, and his confidence is not comparable to that of the monks of this level. Therefore, under such unfavorable circumstances, his state of mind is not as calm as that of the shopkeeper Kong. This magic circle mainly consumes gold gas, and it can only be maintained for 10 hours at a time. The gold gas and other materials I have on hand can only be arranged once more. The whole dispenser took a deep breath and calmed down. After taking a look at it, he explained. It seems that only the golden spirit bee who can ride me can still support for a few days and continue to rush. Otherwise, in this situation, even if the beast Chow has finally been suppressed, it will be impossible for the monk to recover within a few days. Take control of this area. Although Qian's face is not good looking, but his emotions did not move violently. Obviously, he couldn't find something useful considered countermeasures. This is the only way. Otherwise, there will be a large number of monsters and monsters from the Sky Dome crossing in the future. If we have been staying here, there will be many evils. Only go to the next city to see if there are many monks, Kong dispenser said helplessly. How are we going? In the direction of Zhenming City. The Qingming City and the Ghost City where the Nether Palace is located are only 2 cities away from the city. Maybe it will be possible to keep it. After Qian Qianbao said this, he looked at it for a long time. Wei Suo said, how to say, I don't know if Ji Daiyu has any opinions. Can Ji Daiyu's injury be rushed at this moment? The location of the real city, Wei Suo's eyes flickered suddenly. The orientation of the true underworld is the southeast orientation of Guanshan City where they are now, continuing to the depth of the northern part of Tianxian continent, and Wei Suo feels that his heart eater seems to be exactly in that orientation. I also think it's feasible to go to the real city. My injury is not a problem, but there is no way to cast a spell. It is to trouble all my friends to take me. It's not too late. Let's set off right away. It's at least 2 or 3 days' journey from here to the real city. It must arrive before my golden bee dies, otherwise we will have no security. Take a deep breath. If the true underworld is similar to this Xuanhuan city, then he really doesn't know what else is possible. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 672. Chapter 672 Painting Ground as Prison. Stop him. Use his shapeshift great art without shapeshift great art to kill it. Kill this person and become true disciple, reward Dao rank shapeshift great art great treasure. Eastern desolate sect master swayed from the air, screaming out of a surging sound, incomparably rushing. Rear Eastern desolate sect the Qinghua great treasure cultivator and the Eastern desolate sect old antique are also full of stunned, sly fall to the ground, back, but no longer the previous look. The cultivation base of these three people is no different from shapeshift great art and Weisuo. Even the hidden old antique at the bottom of the Eastern desolate sect is only the cultivation base of the golden core third layer middle stage. There is no shapeshift great art at all. Suppress the invasion of this fruit, origin chi. After the landing of the great treasure cultivator in Xingyi, immediately after a surging sound great treasure called, a sharp blade appeared in the hand, the body blood light chi, a piece of blood row was cut. The Xingyi great treasure cultivator has the lowest cultivation base among the three. The first one is that there is no shapeshift great art to resist this invasion of origin chi. Kill him to be sect master true disciple. Take the Eastern desolate sect's supreme shapeshift great art and get the amazing shapeshift great art great treasure. This kind of opportunity cannot fall into the hands of others. He alone, even if the fleshly body is stronger than the great treasure, it is impossible to withstand so many people. Kill him. More than a dozen splendid light, out of the fissure of the surging sound, first hit Weisuo. Pa. Weisuo divine consciousness released, went on, and the 7 or 8 brilliance ahead, he was directly crushed by his hand. The rest of the brilliance hit him, and it collapsed directly. His silver set divine light shines like a star, shapeshift great art has some cracks, but the naked body has no damage at all, even a trace. The imprint has not been left. A thick golden Jing gold shapeshift great art shield on the side of a golden SE, directly in front of him, 4 dozen pieces of Jing gold pieces fly backwards, playing the rear 3 Eastern desolate sect cultivator body light chi, screaming a surging the sound will be planted backwards without any surging sound. There are 2 Eastern desolate sect cultivators already in the Ji shapeshift great art great treasure, but the divine consciousness pressure of Pangret treasure is pressed, the 2 Eastern desolate sect cultivators are in full swing, shapeshift great art great treasure has not come out yet, Weisuo I have already passed by them. 2 people, like 2 bundles of straw, flew out and the bones of the entire upper body were swept away. Hong. The flame of a bronze SE rose from the left front of Weisuo's, and with the pressure of Pangret treasure, swept toward Weisuo. Around the flame, a circle of astral wind was brought out, and the power was extremely amazing. Pa. Weisuo reached out and grasped the flame of this bronze SE. This bronze SE light is a short gun shapeshift great art. The style is simple and the spirit light flashes. Without any stop, Weisuo throws the shapeshift great art great treasure, just wearing it, even with the naked body, flew out, broke several temples, nailed to a wall. Along the way, Weisuo's around the body, have at least dozens of Eastern desolate sect to intercept, but cultivator Weisuo, great no man most cultivators' movements are slower than Weisuo, often shapeshift great art great treasure and surgery shapeshift great art has not yet see Weisuo has been in the next Eastern desolate sect cultivator in front of the body, then the name Eastern desolate sect immediately be photographed flying out. Can even Xiao Rank's shapeshift great art great treasure be caught by empty hands? Is his naked body more terrifying than the naked body of the high-level monster beast? Several Eastern desolate sect cultivators lost their fighting spirit and fled. An Eastern desolate sect cultivator, who is looking for Ji shapeshift great art great treasure, suddenly pops out of the bloodlight without any signs of death. Let me go. One of the Eastern Desolate Sect cultivators, who saw Wei Suo appearing in front of him, smashed the cold Mao, and could not help but surging the sound of the great treasure. Pa! Wei Suo grabbed it and the Eastern Desolate Sect cultivator was picked up by him. He collided with two Eastern Desolate Sect cultivators on the side. The three Eastern Desolate Sect cultivators were smashed and bloody. Rao, last name. An Eastern Desolate Sect disciple wearing a red shapeshift great art suit suddenly fell in fear. Wei Suo didn't have a lust, but he still stepped out in one step. The giant treasure blood chi surged and leaped a few tens of feet away. The Eastern Desolate Sect cultivator was shot backwards. Counting splendid light from the rear, the Eastern Desolate Sect cultivator was torn apart. It is impossible to stop him. Is he really an ancient great treasure? A lot of Eastern Desolate Sect cultivators are called great treasure. Wei Suo step by step, no one can stop, only around the body kept popping up a group of blood fog, a name cultivator was blown out, and the green U steps behind him were bloody. Pu. Suddenly, just this short 10-digit time, the Eastern Desolate Sect old antique sitting on the ground suddenly shocked the naked body, and the breath suddenly faded completely. Immediately, the vitality was completely cut off, and the skin and blood row completely decaying. Just a moment of time, it became a dry corpse of grey se. Uncle Shi. Eastern Desolate Sect Master, a surging sound scream of heart. The cultivation base of the Eastern Desolate Sect Old Antique is now the highest among their three Eastern Desolate Sect Great Treasure Cultivator, but is this Old Antique itself life essence left? Now Great Treasure amount of use golden core powerful energy repression attack into the naked body origin chi, gol den core powerful energy intense loss under, fleshly body is already not enough nourishment, life essence fly exhausted, unexpectedly is directly fell. An Eastern Desolate Sect Old Antique, which has not known about the years of cultivation, turned out to be a surging sound. The great treasure of most Eastern Desolate Sect cultivator is half cold. Wei Suo continued to move towards the orientation of the Eastern Desolate Sect Master and the Xingyi Great Treasure cultivator. All the cultivators blocking him in front of him were all knocked out. Block him, wait for us to recover divine ability. Otherwise, the Eastern Desolate Sect base industry is destroyed today. Seeing that Wei Suo is constantly getting closer, Eastern Desolate Sect Master and Xingyi's Great Treasure Cultivator are completely lost. They are all dazzling great treasure. Ah! A famous Eastern Desolate Sect cultivator came in from all directions in an attempt to block Wei Suo. Wei Suo didn't stop the killing of these Eastern Desolate Sect cultivators. He has said it repeatedly before, don't want to die, and these cultivators also know that the Eastern Desolate Sect Master ordered the killing of the surviving cultivator, and so loyalty, these cultivators are also dead for Wei Suo. All can kill. Just a short while, Wei Suo is less than 1,000 feet away from the Eastern Desolate Sect's Great Treasure Cultivator. Ah! The Xingyi Great Treasure Cultivator was frightened and waved faster. Cut it well, cut it again. See this Xingyi Great Treasure Cultivator cut off a lot of their own blood row, will be able to prevent the origin chi attack, Wei Suo but is said so, at the same time reach out to grasp, but also a black Xuanhuan wooden box dropped to the Xingyi Great Treasure Cultivator on top of the head, bang a surging sound burst open, a round of origin chi, again attacked the Xingyi Great Treasure Cultivator. The Xingyi Great Treasure Cultivator had just been cut, and the result was rushed to the body by this origin chi. The naked body suddenly became stiff, and then I heard Wei Suo's cut well. If I cut it again, this Xingyi Great Treasure Cultivator after a spurt of blood spurted out, he cut into his own heart arteries with a single knife, but knew that there was no way to live, and he directly cut himself. Wei Suo didn't look at the Xingyi Great Treasure Cultivator and went on to the Eastern Desolate Sect Master. Boom! 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 Wei Suo's foot surging sound, just like a giant drum, in the heart of Eastern Desolate Sect all cultivator dang. One of the stalks of the giant treasure of the origin Qi Bo moved, and began to shake off his body, but this moment, the fruit of the origin Qi, seems to have been completely wiped out by him. Do not kill me. What do you want to do? What do you want to know? I can tell you all about it. Looking at the supreme powers, Wei Suo, who is close to his own bio like ancient god king, sat on the ground and was still trying to melt the fruit. Origin Qi's Eastern Desolate sect master finally couldn't stand it, and his mind collapsed. The dazed great treasure screamed. Wei Suo didn't say anything, just turned and looked at the back. All the Eastern Desolate sect cultivators in the rear are trembling, and no one has dared to shoot him again. Very good, you listened to me from the beginning, don't be against me, you collect all the treasure receiving pocket and other things on them. From now on, listen to my order, I will let him live a path, if there is disobedience, want to escape, kill. Then, Wei Suo looked at the edge of the surrounding valley, and dozens of people listened to him from the beginning. No, he did not dare to avoid the Eastern Desolate sect cultivator, which he was far from enemies, and nodded. There were more than 1,000 cultivators in the Eastern Desolate section. They were driven by Wei Suo all the way to the end of the Qingyu steppes. More than 300 cultivators were killed. Now there are more than 700 cultivators, facing the calm standing Wei Suo. There is no one who dares to defy the treasure receiving pocket and the shapeshift great art on Jiao origin. Without my permission, this range is not allowed, otherwise there will be such people. Wei Suo's eyes flash, a brilliance from his hands, but a circle of giant great treasure. At the same time, an Eastern Desolate sect cultivator, who had previously touched him, suddenly flashed a light on his head. Even if he didn't even have a surging sound, he immediately broke off and fell down. Ah! Seeing this lust scene, all the remaining Eastern Desolate sect cultivators are chilling out and gather in the circle drawn by Wei Suo. So many treasure receiving pocket, this is another great treasure, ah. Ids _crew first name Commonwealth 26 Ids crew first name Commonwealth 26. The treasure receiving pocket, which was found on these Eastern Desolate sect cultivators, was piled up in front of Wei Suo's as a great treasure pile, and green-robed old man was called the giant treasure in Wei Suo's ear. Well, I can talk to you now. But then, Wei Suo didn't take care of these treasure receiving pockets, but turned to look at the Eastern Desolate sect master without blood, and asked, the cultivator of Mystic Wind sect, now secret place. They now have great treasures gathered near Netherworld City. Eastern Desolate sect master knew that there was no room for bargaining with Wei Suo, and the face replied in vain. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 673. Have a monk. The treasurer Qian and the treasurer Kong, as well as the very ordinary Zhang Nian and the honest Lu Chang, were all taken aback, looking in the direction that Wei Suo was looking at. The direction that Wei Suo looked at seemed to be in the middle of the true underworld, but no matter what the consciousness or sight could reach, they could not perceive the existence of any monk. They seem to have discovered us too, and may have seen the escape light when we came. Wei Suo nodded and said quietly. Where are they now, Ji Daiyu? Can you feel that they are approaching us? How many of them are there? The faces of Qian Qianbao and Kongzi Wiki suddenly showed a look of excitement and tension. Only a basically intact city, under the jurisdiction of the sect, there can be order, and the safety of the general monks can be guaranteed. In this case, if the other party is a kind generation, it may help a lot, if it is the kind of murderous. For generations, it may be the disaster of extinction. There are at least 7 or 8 monks, but there should be no danger. Let's meet with them in the past. But Wei Suo's expression was very calm. After saying this to the money shopkeeper and others, he took it in front. Got off the road. So far, Wei Suo did indeed march towards the middle of the true underworld, but after walking 1,000 feet, Wei Suo had not stopped and still led the way ahead. Gdaiu, you can even perceive the existence of monks beyond such a long distance. Where are those monks now? After walking nearly 1,000 feet behind Weisuo, Qianzhang and Kongzhang looked at each other. I couldn't bear it, and I was extremely suspicious. In their view, even the 5-tier monk of Jindan, it is impossible for the consciousness to perceive 2,000 feet away. They now even have some doubts about what Weisuo wanted to do. Hearing the money dispensers and the whole dispensers, Weisuo stopped and turned around, as if to open his mouth to explain what he looked like, but his eyes flashed slightly at this moment. Snapped. At the same time, just in front of a group of people, a few miles away, there was a sudden sound of obvious spells impacting hard objects. At the same time, there was also a clear sound of a monk, very panicked. Whisper of exclamation. There is a monk. Qian and the shopkeepers and others were suddenly taken aback, somewhat speechless. Is there a Daoist friend? At this time, Weisuo whispered quietly towards the place where the sound was made. Where are the Dao friends from? A clearly panicked voice came out. We are monks from the valley mining city. Qianqinwei saw Weisuo take a look at him, and then stunned slightly, then said. Monk in the valley mine city? Daiu. The other party's voice suddenly became strange. Daiu, are you the shopkeeper? The shopkeeper Qian and the shopkeeper Kong seemed to have reacted at the same time. Their bodies were shocked and made some incredible sounds. The money shopkeeper. Is it really you? Is there? The other party immediately made an extremely surprised voice. The shopkeeper Zhang, this is Kong Danian, Kong shopkeeper said extremely excitedly. Whole dispenser. I didn't think it was you. I couldn't imagine that you can still meet you here. But you are careful. It seems that there is a monster in the neighborhood. The other party was also excited, but immediately reminded him nervously. The other party is two familiar Taoists. This situation made Weisuo unexpected. Only then did he know that the whole dispensers and others suspected it, so he deliberately made his heartworms make some noise near the other party, which made the other party a little alarmed. Before, he used a unique induction with heartworms to know that although the other party has a large number of people, but the cultivation base is not high, and he can deal with it only by his heart eater, so he is not nervous at all, but he did not expect that the other party is still the old knowledge of people such as Kong Zhang. In addition, the shopkeepers of the city stores are generally busy with business, and the repairs are not too high, but I did not expect that so many shopkeepers survived. There are already 3 shopkeepers in so many people. The shopkeeper Zhang is the shopkeeper of Lingjing Pavilion in Lingzi City. We have seen it several times before at the trade fair, and the relationship is not bad. I didn't expect to encounter it here. Qian shopkeeper nodded and immediately sucked a breath. Ghost City is to the south of Zhenming City, while Lingzi City is to the east of Zhenming City. One is the depth to the north of Tianqian continent, and the other is the landscape. But between Lingzi City and Zhenming City, there is also a Muishan City. Now that Zhangjiang is all here, it means that Muishan City is probably no longer there. If this is the case, how many places have the beast tide swept through this time? Because these cities are known to everyone, and these areas are connected, they are already 1/4 of the northern part of the Tianqian continent. Go, let's meet with them. In the past Weisuo was also shocked, but the look on his face did not change much. After nodding towards the money dispenser, Weisuo then led the way in front of him, marching towards Zhang dispensers and others. His consciousness is overwhelming, plus the monster said by the other party is his heart eater, so he does not have much care. Although the gold spirit bee of the money shopkeeper did not notice the existence of the heartworm, but it is precisely because of this that the money shopkeeper and others only feel that there is no higher order monster in the real underworld, so they move forward, but they are also not too worried. After all, in the case of possessing several magic items with above level spirit rank, they should be able to deal with monsters of the 5th level. A moment later, The Heart Eater arrived at Weizhuo's 20 feet without the knowledge of the money dispensers and others. Wei Suo felt that his two broken tentacles hadn't grown up yet, but the rest were not traumatized, and they were full of vitality. The shopkeeper Zhang, I didn't expect to be able to meet here, and a moment later, a group of monks also appeared after a ruin. The Qian Zhao and Kongxian and the old Kayang old man wearing a dark green robe and a long beard in front of each other looked at each other, and they were a little bit excited. Wei Suo looked at the group of monks. This group of monks has a total of 7 people. In addition to the open shopkeeper wearing dark green robes, there is a middle-aged bearded middle-aged monk wearing bronze leather armor, carrying a long red sword, which is very conspicuous and looks it should be a sword cultivation, Zhou Tianjing's 5-fold cultivation practice. The remaining 5 are young men who are less than 30 years old, and all of them have only 4 to 5 levels of cultivation. The shopkeeper Zhang, why are you here? Has Lingzi city been completely destroyed by the beast tide? After being a little bit speechless at first, the shopkeeper Qian arched towards the monk on the side of the shopkeeper Zhang. After arching his hands, after a salute, he immediately couldn't help but looked at the shopkeeper and asked. Lingzi city has been completely destroyed. You have even come here. Isn't Valley Mine City coming all the way, also destroyed? Zhang shopkeeper sucked deeply and calmed his mind. The old man with a clear face looks bloodshot on his eyes, a little unkempt, and looks very haggard. Deo friends, let's talk while we go back. It's still a bit unsafe outside. A middle-aged monk with a beard wearing bronze leather armor looked around and said with a very serious expression. This is Zhou Daiyu, he is a monk of Gujian Zone. Ji Daiyu turned out to be a monk of Biling City. Tianchu City, Valley Mine City, Biling City, all these cities along the way, have already. There are 4 surviving Taoists. Next, Wei Suo and others followed behind the shopkeeper Zhang and others and walked towards the direction of the real city. While traveling and talking, Wei Suo and others knew that the Lingzi city had indeed been destroyed by the beast tide. The shopkeeper just happened to be transporting a batch of alchemy goods to Zhenming city. As a result, it was thousands of miles away from Zhenming city, and the beast tide had swept through. Zhang and others relied on an ancient rune that could hide their breath. After hiding for several days in a swamp along the way, they escaped the disaster. Now the 5 members of Zhang Zhang's group look like they are 30 years old. The young men who arrived there were all the shop assistants who worked with him in the previous shop and transported the goods. But this middle-aged monk only met them afterwards in the real city. This monk was named Zhou Yuge. He was a monk in the ancient sword city in the central part of Tianqian continent. The result was a beast tide, but only 3 people were lucky to escape, but on the way to the real city, Zhou Yuge and his party also saved 2 monks. Now the other 4 monks are staying in a temporary dwelling they built in the real city, where they also built a magic circle that can hide their breath. The group of them did not leave after they arrived in the underworld. They had stayed in the underworld for 5 days, but during these 5 days, they had not encountered other surviving monks. The shopkeeper Zhang, are you the monsters in the real underworld that you cleaned up? Wei Suo couldn't help asking when he was about to approach the hiding place of the shopkeeper Zhang and others. Yes, because we are afraid that the bodies of these monsters will attract some scavenging monsters, so we slowly cleared out the bodies of all monsters in the real city, and piled them in a valley behind the real city. Among them Zhang shopkeeper replied very politely. Under such circumstances, the relationship between each surviving monk seems to be intimately closer. All in the valley behind, Wei Suo's thought flashed in his heart, before his heart eater came from behind the real ghost city, but it was very likely to the brain of the monster in that valley. After a while, the shopkeeper Zhang and others took Wei Suo and others to their hideout in the real underworld. Their hiding place was actually placed in a huge hollowed tortoise shell. This tortoise shell is slightly larger than the purple flame giant beetle, showing a reddish color, with many flame-like patterns around its body, and some aura of fire. This is a tortoise shell of the 6th level intermediate monster red rock giant tortoise. There are many traces of magical power impact on this tortoise shell, and there are several huge pits around it. At this moment, this tortoise shell is also at the bottom of a pit. It seems that the first 6th-level middle-level monster was killed by a monk who was not weak when the true underworld city was broken. Yep. Wei Zhou was slightly startled as soon as Zhang Zhang and others entered into the tortoise shell. He saw at a glance that the other 4 monks mentioned by Zhang Zhang and others were all in the hollowed-out giant tortoise shell. Among the 4 monks, one was a beautiful woman in a yellow shirt, and the other one was lying on the ground motionlessly. It seemed that the injury was very serious. Asterisk. Ian, then there is a very high, the tide. In addition, if you are a book friend who has followed me for many years, you must know that I am slow and hot, that is thin, fast and fast no, so my book fans should know me very well. It's an old saying, be more patient. It seems that I have already said the sentence when I wrote The Rogue Master, and I have said it many times, because since that time, I said that my style would be liked by people who liked it, and it would be difficult for people who didn't like it. And I would like what I like, and then write so hard for a group of people who like me. If it is really incomprehensible, I can't stand my slow fever without patience, so give me some face. Don't be too cruel when approving me. After all, I have written for so many years, and I am old. Give me some face. I can be regarded as one of the authors. Basically, I will read a few book reviews. Words like rotten and are too much and have no substantive meaning. Don't fight if you can. The squeak is stronger than that. Yeah, I miss the squeak from time to time in the book review area. Actually, I haven't changed my attitude towards writing from the beginning to now, and I feel that I work harder. It's like how many book friends now seem to be very different from the previous. The atmosphere has changed a lot. Is it that the price has risen too much? Guo Mai Mei and Lu Mai Mei, everyone is it a bad breath to vent. What's more, let's take a look at the other most popular chapters. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 674. Chapter 674 Inexplicable Books. Through the naked body, there is a bright yellow Seguanguangua's temple. The naked body is carved like a yellow U. It is crystal clear and gives a very old feeling. It is the whole naked body. It is the scriptures depository of Eastern Desolate Sect. The restrictions of this scriptures depository need to be applied by Shapeshift Great Art. I have almost no Shapeshift Great Art, and no Shapeshift Great Art is open. In this not a great treasure, only a few dozen square feet of the temple, just spit out a blood of Eastern Desolate Sect Master Face Pale said. Haha, this is the ancient Scorpio seal. This restrictions I know about Shapeshift Great Art, young fellow, don't need him to open it, we just have to open it ourselves. Green-robed old man was screaming in Wei Suo's ear. Continuously collecting things, so that this shopaholic old man is extremely excited. If I am not mistaken, is this an ancient seal? Wei Suo's face was the same, and he looked at the orange Desolate Sect Master with a pale face. Eastern Desolate Sect Master seems to stop for breathing, eyes filled with extremely shocking God se. After a pause, he nodded and said, this restrictions, indeed the ancient Scorpio seal. He even sees such an ancient seal that has long been lost. Can he open this seal? Eastern Desolate Sect Master's mind just flashed such a thought, only Wei Suo reached out and said that True Yuan kept coming out and broke into the ground and Ming Huang Se Temple in the Ming Huang Se Temple. Among the few secret place rune. He really knows how to open the shapeshift great art of this ancient lost seal. Is he really an ancient one step away from divine mystic realm, but did not successfully break through the reincarnation of the great treasure of divine mystic realm? Eastern Desolate Sect Master's breathing was paused, and the shock in her heart was like a storm. He could see that Wei Suo's shape-shift great art was completely correct, only for a moment, and the light yellow shroud around the temple was slightly swayed, showing a crack of a length and a width. Continue to lead the way. Wei Suo nodded his face to the already wooden Eastern Desolate Sect Master and nodded calmly. The Eastern Desolate Sect Master, which has been completely shaken, does not dare to have any violations. It goes ahead and enters the Millennium Desolate Sect Heritage of the Millennium Scriptures Depository. N. After entering the Secret Place Scriptures Depository of Eastern Desolate Sect, Wei Suo's eyes were also flickered for a moment. This temple is only one layer, a few 10 feet high. The middle of the temple is a giant great treasure golden amber that almost touches the top of the temple. The golden center of this giant great treasure is engraved with a pattern of patterns and a frame of books. The pattern of a frame, in addition to some of the icon of shape-shift great art, but also seems to record the appearance of some of the great treasure of Eastern Desolate Sect, some great treasure things. With Divine Mystic, the Divine Mystic Cultivator is the one that lays out this stuff. Wei Suo took a deep breath, but his eyes were sharply flickered for a moment, turning to look at the Eastern Desolate Sect Master, a naked body of the naked body. You Eastern Desolate Sect has Divine Mystic Realm great treasure. This giant great treasure's golden se amber, brilliance entangled, there is an inviolable pang great treasure breath, mysterious. And through the brilliance of the naked body, there is a strange aroma, which is obviously the kind of breath of the Divine Mystic Realm Cultivator. Our Eastern Desolate Sect is a Divine Mystic Realm great treasure. Eastern Desolate Sect Master trembling, giving a feeling of whimpering and crying. The cultivator that once had the Divine Mystic great treasure can fall into the current field and change it to others. It is estimated that it will not bear the same with him. What are the top grades of shape-shift great art and shape-shift great art? Wei Suo did not care what his feelings were at the moment, and asked directly and unceremoniously. The highest grades of shape-shift great art and shape-shift great art are in the top of this piece of gold. Eastern Desolate Sect Master's naked body trembled several times before he barely said this. Wei Suo looked up at the top of this giant great treasure golden se amber and watched it carefully. Heavenly level low grade, shape-shift great art. East level, heaven level low grade, shape-shift great art. Wei Suo is unceremonious. Once you have read a copy of Shape-Shift Great Art, you can use it directly to record it in the storage bracelet. This action makes the Eastern Desolate Sect Master almost vomiting blood. You Eastern Desolate Sect, the highest is only heaven-level low-grade Shape-Shift Great Art? There are only 3 men heaven-level low-grade Shape-Shift Great Art? So bad. However, after Wei Suo looked at it for a while, he shook his head and said something to him. Pu this time, the Eastern Desolate Sect Master suddenly spewed out a blood. It seems that the highest is only heaven-level low-grade, shape-shift great art, and there is no great treasure. Green-robed old man has a surging sound. Heaven-level low-grades shape-shift great art for Wei Suo. It's true that there is no secret place for great treasure. Unless it's a level with antiquity, ominous fire and some unique secret places. Heaven-level mid-level shape-shift great art, you can improve Wei Suo's strength. What is this? At this time, Wei Suo was attracted by the top of the portrayal. On the top of the screen, 2 figures are engraved, one of which is a yellow shirt, which looks ordinary cultivator, and another figure, tall and great treasure, full height of 2 ordinary cultivators, awesome not a cultivator. This is not a cultivator. It is the same as the naked body and cultivator, but behind it is a pair of green se wings. On the skin of Xuanhuan, there is a flaming stripe like a tattoo. In the portrayal, the ordinary cultivator is worshipped under this figure. This figure stretches out a hand, and the volley presses on the top of the ordinary cultivator, and there is a light group between the palms. What is this recorded? Wei Suo looked at it and couldn't see the clue. He turned to look at the Eastern Desolate Sect Master. This record is that our ancestors accepted the shapeshift great art. Eastern Desolate Sect Master does not dare to look directly at the face of the painting. It seems that it is a faceless person in the face of the painting. Our ancestors were originally just a business Yao singer, once deep into the eastern wilderness of the deep secret place. Yao, but I met such an inexplicable strongman. This inexplicable strongman passed the shapeshift great art, and our ancestors later made a generation of divine mystic great treasure. Is the inexplicable strongman to transmit shapeshift great art? Is this the divine mystic shapeshift great art of divine mystic cultivator? Wei Suo looked at the engraving, and the thought came out of his mind, but then he shook his head again. According to the records of the classics, divine mystic shapeshift great art is quite a Pangret treasure. The strong copy of shapeshift great art on this picture is only two people, and from the appearance, it is like a humanoid monster beast. It's not like divine mystic shapeshift great art. N. Wei Suo suddenly eyes flash, the god of the face se changed significantly. Young fellow, what's wrong, what's wrong? Green-robed old man felt the obvious change of Wei Suo and couldn't help but ask. Wei Suo didn't answer first, but a volume of True Yuan, wrapped up the Eastern Desolate Sect Master and plunged straight up, but it plunged directly onto the giant great golden amber wrapped around the inexplicable brilliance. Right in front of the engraved figure. This, green-robed old man was also surprised by great treasure. Because at this moment he also felt that in this engraving, the light group between the palms of the inexplicable strongman like the human-shaped monster beast was formed by countless fine characters, and countless subtle brilliance flashed like a sky starry. These countless succinct characters seem extremely special, unprecedented, unlike the rune of ancient cultivation world, and even the text of the ancient cultivation world, there seems to be a clear distinction, it is difficult to understand the meaning. What is this rune? Wei Suo frowned at the characters and turned to look at the Eastern Desolate Sect Master. This secret place scriptures depository, Eastern Desolate Sect Master must have entered countless times, it is impossible to not know that this light group is formed by a myriad of characters. This is the shapeshift great art and the shapeshift great art that the inexplicable powerman taught me to the east. The descendants of our Eastern Desolate Sect don't even know what these runes mean. Eastern Desolate Sect Master still can't look directly at this engraving, replied with a low head. Is the shapeshift great art and the shapeshift great art taught by the inexplicable power, you don't know what it means? Wei Suo's eyes narrowed slightly, and some unbelievably looked at the Eastern Desolate Sect Master. Eastern Desolate Sect Master is extremely resentful and can't help but say, the shapeshift great art and the shapeshift great art taught by the inexplicable strongman are amazing. They should be heaven-level top rank and shapeshift great art and shapeshift great art. If it weren't for our sorrowful sorcerer's accidental fall, I don't know what it means, otherwise our Eastern Desolate Sect will be today. That's what you guys take. If it weren't for you to kill the surviving cultivator, how could it lead me to come? If you don't take it by yourself, even if you lose this ancient heritage, your Eastern Desolate Sect may not be able to maintain the foundation, and even the great treasure can happen again. And in this heavenly profound continent northern part is occupied by the monster beast, you have the phoenix unicorn azure hawk and the unique restrictions that can be dangerously traversed, and are equito to countless resources. It is a godsend opportunity for your ancestors, but it is a pity that you are not greedy enough to attract this change. Looking at the resentful Eastern Desolate Sect Master, Wei Suo, a surging sound sneer, took out a note of the blue, and kept recording this classic that I could not understand. This book gives him a feeling of difference, and this text is not even known to green-robed old man. It seems to be a more secret seed. If you can read these words in the future, maybe there will be great treasure. Use. This is the shapeshift great art of the phoenix unicorn azure hawk. This is a shapeshift great art of a men great treasure type of shapeshift great art. Next, Wei Suo continued to look at the books and catalogs on this giant great treasure golden amber, and wrote down all the consciously useful ones. You should have an artifact refinement for earth fire furnace or fire furnace room. Take me with me. After writing down all the books that feel useful to use secret place, Wei Suo is ruthlessly commanding Eastern Desolate sect master. Young fellow, you want to stay in this secret place, wait for the rabbit, wait for the arrival of Mystic Wind sect, and then take this time, just take this place to have heavenly fire stove or earth fire furnace. Those unfinished shapeshift great art great treasure is also finished by the way. Green-robed old man suddenly understood the meaning of Wei Suo's and couldn't help but say. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 675. Chapter 675 Ninth Heaven Chi Fire Stove. Do you know that there is a kind of spiritual Yao called Buddha Nature Holy Fruit? Buddha Nature Holy Fruit, this spirit Yao, have I seen the record? Then have you heard that secret place has this kind of holy fruit? Ancient Desolate was moved to the whole mountain, and there are quite a few heavenly fire furnaces and fire furnace room dedicated to artifact refinement, but on the way to the fire furnace room, Wei Suo changed his mind and again asked about the Eastern Desolate sect master to see if you can find out the whereabouts of this holy fruit. If you build Immortal Root 5 secrets, not only true UN cultivation base breaks into the golden core 5th layer, but you can also take a step away from divine mystic great treasure, and the 2 golden cores plus the township shapeshift great art. Even if you encounter real divine, the mystic cultivator also has a counterweight, Buddha Nature Holy Fruit, which is extremely important for Wei Suo. I haven't heard of any secret places in this secret place. Eastern Desolate sect master looking at Wei Suo, he didn't dare to lie. Because at the moment Wei Suo's left hand has a candle-like bright yellow splendid light flashing. This Dao technique shapeshift great art is called truth assertion technique and can sense the extreme nuances of the other cultivator to distinguish the true and false of the other person's speech. It is just acquired by Wei Suo in the scriptures depository of Eastern Desolate section. The shapeshift great art requires a strong divine consciousness to work with, and the Eastern Desolate sect master doesn't. Wei Suo is now used, and the shapeshift great art learned with the Eastern Desolate sect scriptures depository is instead used to deal with the Eastern Desolate sect master. Let the Eastern Desolate sect master's heart cannot tell the madness. Every time I stay with Wei Suo, Eastern Desolate sect master feels that I am more worried about the danger of cultivation deviation. Go outside. Wei Suo shook his head and walked to the end of the blue U steps outside. All the remaining Eastern Desolate sect cultivators are still obediently staying in the circle he has drawn, and dare not have any instigation. Which of you knows what secret place has Buddha Nature Holy Fruits whereabouts of this spiritual Yao? If anyone can give the whereabouts of this spiritual Yao, I can not only let him leave immediately, but also pass one of his men heaven level shapeshift great art, a Dao rank shapeshift great art great treasure. You can even let it pick 10 friends, and 10 Phoenix Eagle will leave. Next, Wei Suo said to these Eastern Desolate sect cultivators. Buddha Nature Holy Fruit? What is the spirit of Yao? Who knows the whereabouts of this kind of thing? Would you like to say a place? He is using the truth assertion technique. If he is sham, it is to die. Wei Suo said that when the words were exported, more than 700 Eastern Desolate sect cultivators in the circle couldn't help but talk about the surging sound Xiao. In this kind of lust, everyone wants to leave, and the conditions given by Wei Suo are extremely even if you are a supreme elder or sect master true disciple, it is not the same treatment. But more than 700 Eastern Desolate sect cultivator light surging sound Xiao talked for a while, but the great treasure is the first time to hear the name of this spiritual Yao. No one knows about the Buddha Nature Holy Fruit. This kind of holy fruit is too little, not easy to find. No wonder Dong Miao Zhen was so refreshing that the amazing shift of the Immortal Root 5 secrets came out. This kind of lust shape makes green-robed old man sigh. If heaven's dome is completely cracked, the cultivator is scarce, and many of the Jiao easy places are lost. It is even more difficult to find something. Looking for Buddha Nature Holy Fruit, you need to be more attentive. Wei Suo also had some slight disappointment in his heart, but the god Se on his face did not have any bow movements. He quietly glanced at the Eastern Desolate Sect cultivator like the lamb to be slaughtered, saying, "I promise that as long as you are obediently obey the words and let you live a life. Now you will dismiss True Yuan in the naked body. When the cultivator with Mystic Wind Sect arrives, I will naturally leave when I arrive, leaving you alive." Usually cultivator scattered to the whole body True Yuan after, can also by using spiritual stones and Danya cultivation, add back, but at the moment this all Eastern Desolate Sect the cultivator the body of Danyao and spiritual stones have all been scraping empty, True Yuan scattered after, but there is no shapeshift great art added back, naked no True Yuan body, these cultivato are for Wei Suo, there is no half-point threat at all. Because these cultivators know that Wei Suo wants to kill themselves, there is no difference between True Yuan, so after the release of Wei Suo's surging sound, these Eastern Desolate Sect cultivators are also afraid to have any hesitation, they are all one by one. Dissipate all of True Yuan in your own naked body. As for you, I can also let you live a path. Wei Suo's gaze turned to the Eastern Desolate Sect master next to him, but I have to accept your golden core. Received my golden core. Wei Suo's words are not only the Eastern Desolate Sect master, but even the remaining 700 Eastern Desolate Sect cultivators are NEPs. Everyone knows that the golden core of a golden core cultivator is charged to be abolished. The cultivation base of the golden core cultivator, I don't know how many years of painstaking cultivation. If you don't want to, you can also dictate yourself now. I can leave you a whole body. Wei Suo's god lust has not changed, watching the Eastern Desolate Sect master continue. Enough. Eastern Desolate Sect master naked body trembled a few times, finally biting his teeth and directly offering the golden core. At this moment, True Yuan is exhausted in his naked body, and the cultivation base and Wei Suo are too far apart. Compared with Shapeshift Great Art, the Shapeshift Great Art is completely impossible to achieve with the golden core. Only the golden core is obediently offered. Pa. A nearly transparent golden core sunlight from Wei Suo heart arteries, just a roll, suppressed the golden core of Eastern Desolate Sect master, directly earned the golden core of Eastern Desolate Sect master among the storage bracelets. Eastern Desolate Sect master the naked body was shocked. He only felt that the connection with golden core was cut off directly. Then his breath quickly weakened and he was 10 years old. You stay in this secret place, and when Mystic Wind Sect has a cultivator, I will naturally leave when I arrive. Wei Suo still said this very calmly. Between the talks, several white swatter blade-like brilliance suddenly came from the Eastern Desolate Sect master not far from the secret place Jishi, playing on the ground of the secret place not far from the Eastern Desolate Sect master. The face of Eastern Desolate Sect master was again white, and then the powerless disc sat down and motionless. It's actually ninth heaven chi fire stove. Wei Suo ignored the Eastern Desolate Sect master and walked alone into the fire furnace room. As soon as he walked into the fire furnace room, green-robed old man couldn't help but scream. Wei Suo was also obviously taken aback. The heavenly fire stove in front of me is a huge great treasure, at least 5 or 6 people in height, through the naked body purple se, completely different from the heavenly fire furnace he had seen before, through the material of the naked body purple Siu stone the fire of the fire is extremely strong, and it is covered with a cloud-like cloud pattern. This time you are really great treasure. I don't think there is such a heavenly fire stove in Eastern Desolate Sect. Such a heavenly fire furnace falls into the hands of Eastern Desolate Section, it is simply a violent thing, and Mystic Wind Sect definitely hasn't seen this thing, otherwise it will definitely be taken away. Ninth Heaven Chi Fire Stove, this is the most famous top-grade heavenly fire furnace in ancient Juyi. Even the materials such as 9 chilling iron, Tianluo iron, Qinjua Jingjin, and Henjiao Jingjin can be melted. That's right, Divine Mystic Realm Cultivator, Eastern Desolate Sect has appeared in the Divine Mystic Realm Cultivator, this Ninth Heaven Chi Fire Stove, definitely the legacy of the Divine Mystic Realm Cultivator. Wei Suo has just begun to carefully look at the heavenly fire stove in front of him. Green-robed old man can't help but be sp from him, can even refining even the icy iron. At first, I heard that green-robed old man said that he had a great treasure. Wei Suo didn't have any special feelings because the green-robed old man had a unique taste of collecting and collecting things. Before entering each storeroom, no matter how good or bad things are, as long as there are many types and quantities of things, he is not excited, and every time he calls the great treasure. But at the moment I heard the words of green-robed old man, Wei Suo was also taken aback, because he knows that the 9 secluded irons that green-robed old man said are all so far in the cultivation world. Knowing some of the most top grade, it is also the most difficult to quench. The general fire element simply has no Jing gold that shapeshift great art has melted. This level of Jingjin, like the Buddha nature holy fruit, is extremely rare and hard to find, but even if it is obtained, for the most cultivator of the great treasure, it is not used by shapeshift great art at all. This level of heavenly fire furnace is rare in the ancient treasure world of ancient cultivation world. Young fellow, when you have to go, be sure to take this thing away. Green-robed old man couldn't help but scream. 9 secluded iron this level of Jing gold can refining? The firepower of this stove is not stronger than my antiquity ominous fire. How much does it know? Wei Suo is a little unbelievable. If you don't know it, you don't know it. 9th Heaven Chi fire stove is made of fire purple U, and the inside is arranged without knowing how many fire crystals, forming the shapeshift great art array. These materials are very fragile and easy to damage, and the fire elements that are gathered out are not long distances from shapeshift great art, otherwise the powerful energy of this fire element may not be as good as that of mystic rank high grades shapeshift great art great treasure. So smart, Wei Suo is very unpretentious and swallows his mouth. How does this use the stove? According to the records of the classics, as long as you focus on true UNG, you can directly use the controls, thought division realm and above cultivator. You can use green-robed old man is also anxious to see this top-grade heavenly fire furnace, which he has not seen in kind, so he doesn't squash with Wei Suo, he said directly. So simple. Is this a fire UN? Wei Suo tried to focus on true UN in the heavenly fire furnace of the Pang Great Treasure. It was only a moment of time. This intersection of the fire from the furnace suddenly glowed with the purple light, a dazzling purple SE light column appeared in the mouth of the furnace. Let Wei Suo couldn't help but sip a cold air. The fire element from the 9th Heaven Chi fire stove is completely condensed. It is completely like a purple SE crystal, and even a touch of heat. Not to spread out at all. 9th Heaven Chi fire stove, the name is well deserved. Green-robed old man has a long-awaited look and long size. Pu. Wei Suo took out a piece of ordinary brass crystal and clicked into the mouth of the furnace. It was rushed by the crystal flame of the purple SE. The copper crystal of the great treasure Xiao was directly burned and gasified. Yellow SE gas mist. The firepower of a strong great treasure, Wei Suo poured a cold air, and the heat of the fire was more amazing than his antiquity ominous fire. And then, he thought of the movement, the heat of the purple SE crystal fire, and surely changed his great treasure with his mind. Look at this thing, can you melt it? After taking a deep breath, Wei Suo took out a piece of fresh treasure from the storage bracelet that was only half a G egg like great treasure Xiao, and it looked like there were countless bloodshot black Jing gold. This Jing gold is heaven's blood meteoric iron, which is the top grade of artifact refinement material when Wei Suo scrapes the Eastern Desolate Sect store. Sure enough to melt. The great treasure is only about 80% of the firepower of this 9th Heaven Chi fire stove. Wei Suo's divine consciousness has already felt the bloody black Jing gold, showing signs of melting. Wei Suo's face immediately showed the god of Shen, and then the black light flashed. He took the monster subduing tower and the Jing gold that was previously refining with star white gold and the wreck of the Jing Jin Jin. Come out. Young fellow, Do you want to melt the monster subduing tower? Green-robed old man seeing the action of Weisuo, the green light on his body also violently beats.